In a world ruled by web video, where online entrepreneurs and marketers strive to get noticed and stand out from the rest, one man will fight to unite us all and unveil the true power of web video, one episode at a time. Welcome to the Video Revolver Podcast. Discover how to harness the power of web video to increase traffic and sales on your websites. Grow a loyal following online and crush your competition. And now, here's your host. His best friend is his dog that weighs just 4.7 pounds, Peter Beatty.
Yes, that's true. And she's a very, very expensive dog. She's allergic to everything. And she's cost me so much money in veterinarian bills last year that I'm going to look into the possibility of possibly claiming her as a mascot for my business on my taxes this year. True story. Anyways, this is Peter Beatty, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Video Revolver Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how to launch a product with web video. And I know we're a couple days late on this podcast. I do apologize. I do shoot to get these new podcast episodes out on Monday or Tuesday. But earlier on this week, I kind of got held up with a new product launch that I'm actually working on for my WordPress theme business, PrimoPress. And so I really didn't get a chance to record the podcast on Monday like I usually do. So today's Wednesday, and I'm recording a couple days late, so you'll probably get this podcast by Thursday or Friday. Again, I apologize for the delay. It only happens when I really got something going on, and I just don't have time to record the podcast. However, today's topic kind of works in really nicely with what I'm going through this week, which is launching a new product. So, as I've said before, I also own a premium WordPress theme business called PrimoPress.com. And PrimoPress.com is a business that I own with a friend of mine, Jamie Garside, and we create WordPress themes specifically for small, local, offline type businesses. And a lot of our customers are people who are local business consultants, offline consultants, if you will, people who own web design businesses, stuff like that. So people buy our WordPress themes and they sell them to local businesses for a profit. So it's a great way for people who provide services to local businesses to add new revenue to their business by buying one of our ready-to-use WordPress themes and selling it to their clients. Now, like I said, we're releasing a new WordPress theme this week called Swift Commerce. And it's basically a theme that allows small local businesses to set up simple websites where they can sell their products and services online. Something really simple. And we're actually releasing this tomorrow, which is Thursday. So during this product launch process, we've had to create, a series of videos and emails to launch this new WordPress theme. Okay, so again, it really matches with today's topic, which is doing a product launch with video. So a lot of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to be information that's fresh in my mind and stuff I'm dealing with right now. So before we go ahead and get started with today's topic, I want to just remind you to head on over to my website, videorevolver.com. And when you head on over there, you're going to see an email sign-up box. Go ahead and enter your email address in that sign-up box to sign up for free email updates. And what that's going to do is it's going to put you on a list where I can send you a bunch of spam. No, I'm just joking. What it's going to do is it's going to put you on an email list where you will get all of my updates. So if I release a new podcast, you're going to be the first to know about it. If I shoot a new video, you're going to be the first to know about it. If I release a new tutorial about something or just want to announce something or even a new product that I put together, you will be the first to know about it. I still got a lot of work to do on the Video Revolver site, a lot of plans and stuff, in the future. So I will have some free offers and stuff like that, some free video training up on the site very soon. But for now, I don't have any of that. So just enter your name and sign up for free updates, and you will be the first to know as things progress on the site. So there's my shameless plug out of the way. Let's go ahead and get into the content of today's podcast. So today we're going to talk about how to launch a product or even a service or even a new website or even a new business in the form of a product launch. And we're going to talk about how to do that product launch with video. Now, if you've got a product or even a service or a website or an entire business idea that you want to get going, it's brand new, maybe you want to announce it to the world or you want to announce it to your existing customers, doing a product launch is the best way to go about doing that. Now, today we're going to talk about 3 different things to cover today's topic. We're going to talk about what exactly is a launch. We're going to go over the basics behind it, just in case you're not really familiar with it. Chances are you probably are, because it seems like there's like a million launches going on every single day in our internet marketing space here. So I'm pretty sure you know what a launch is, but we're still going to cover it just in case. And then we're going to talk about how we can actually use video to supercharge the product launch process. And then in step number 3, we're going to talk about, or part number 3, we're going to talk about the simple steps for creating videos that can be used in your product launch. Now, before we get started, I just want to say I'm going to be using the term product launch a lot throughout this podcast, but keep in mind that that doesn't mean that a product launch can't be used to launch, like I said, a service or a new website idea or an entirely new business. So I'm going to be using the word or the term product launch interchangeably, okay? So when I say that, just know that it applies to, a service, a business, or website, or just a single product. It doesn't matter. The concept is the same. I'm just going to keep things simple and just refer to it as product launch. So what is a product launch? Well, if you have a new product that you want to release, again, to your existing customers or to the world, maybe you want to send some advertising to a new product and just announce it to the world and hopefully get some sales. Chances are, if you were to just release this new product, put a sales page up, put an order button up on the site, and, start your advertising or email your list and say, hey, I've got a new product out, go buy it, here it is. Chances are you'll make a few sales right away, and you might even make a lot of sales. Who knows? It depends on, how big your email list is, how your relationship with your customers are and stuff like that. It all depends on a bunch of different factors. But if you were to do something like that, just basically just announce, hey, I've got a new product for sale, go buy it, your results will be nothing compared to if you were to do a 3-step product launch. So a 3-step product launch is something that I like to do for any new product that I release, any new service that I release, any new website idea that I have and a website that I want to launch. It basically consists of a process where you pre-sell your prospects or your ideal customers over the course of 3 to 7, maybe even 10 days on your product. So if you've never heard of the term sideways sales letter or turning a sales letter on its side, then go ahead and Google the term sideways sales letter. And I first learned about the term sideways sales letter from the creator of Product Launch Formula, Jeff Walker. So Jeff Walker is a big internet marketer, and he's the one who kind of pioneered the whole product launch idea. I think he started it in the late 90s, I believe, and he ended up creating a huge, massive product and coaching program called Product Launch Formula, which kind of introduced the whole product launch method to the internet marketing community, if you will. Now it's so popular, everyone knows how to do it, but that's besides the point. Just go ahead and Google the term sideways sales letter, and you might even want to put Jeff Walker at the end, just to get an idea for what I'm talking about here. But basically, the term sideways sales letter means basically taking the traditional sales letter where you have your headline, and you talk about maybe you bring up a common problem that your customer or your prospect is having. You introduce that problem, then you might agitate that problem, where you might talk about all the different reasons why this problem is so bad. And then you might talk about the solution for this problem, which is where you'd actually introduce your product, and then you'd ask for the sale. All of this would be in a typical sales letter, a long-form sales letter. Well, the sideways sales letter methodology, if you will, means basically taking that traditional sales letter, turning it on its side, and releasing your sales message over the course of a few days. So basically you have a pre-sale process, which consists of educating your prospects on a problem that they are having, talking about the problem. So maybe on day one, you would talk about a typical problem that they're having in their niche, and then maybe you would lead into talking about the possible solutions to this problem, and then maybe in the next video, you would start to introduce your product. Something like that. It's a real simplified version of it. So let's talk about some different examples here to explain it better. So let's use me as an example. Since I run a WordPress theme business, we'll use that as an example here. If I was to start over from scratch today and I didn't have a customer list, and I was basically starting from scratch, and I wanted to do a product launch, what would I do? I would create 3 videos, and I would talk about different things in each of those videos that eventually leads up into the introduction of my WordPress theme. So in video number 1, I would talk about the massive potential that there is in providing web design to local businesses. I might even give away some valuable client getting tips on how to find clients, how to close clients, etc. And then maybe at the end of video number 1, I might say, stay tuned, because in video number 2, I'm going to talk about the huge downside of the web design business. Why it's so time consuming and why you might not want to get into it, or why most people fail, or something like that. And then in video number 2, I could start talking about how much time it takes to create WordPress themes from scratch, how there's more money in using existing WordPress themes and customizing them for your clients instead of creating WordPress themes from scratch, because it takes so much time and costs so much money to outsource. And then maybe at the end of video number 2, I might say, well, in the next video, I'm going to introduce a solution for you that's going to solve these problems. And I would say something like, I've decided to create some WordPress themes specifically for local businesses, and these themes are going to solve all your problems and make the web design or website creation process so much easier and faster for you, so you can make more money faster by selling websites to clients. Again, I just made that up out of thin air, but that's the basic idea. Basically, thinking about your product and the problem that it solves. Okay, so talking about the problem, and then talking about the possible solutions, and then obviously talking about how your product is part of the solution. And you would do that in a typical sales letter anyways. But basically the product launch process is all about breaking that process down and releasing the sales message over the course of a series of contacts with your customers. In this case, it's in a series of videos. Let's say that you had a new service that you wanted to offer, maybe a video marketing service, since the topic of this podcast is video marketing anyways. Let's say that you also offered a video marketing service. How would you go about launching that service to the public, or even to your existing customers? Well, first of all, I would create a series of videos. My favorite is 3 videos. And I would maybe release video 1 where I would start to talk about video marketing. I would basically justify all the reasons why they need to have video marketing in their business. I would talk about all the stats of video marketing, how it's dominating the internet, all the possibilities and all the rewards that they could reap in their business if they start using video today. And then in video number 2, I would talk about how it's complicated to start making videos unless you know how to do it. I would start talking about all the downsides of doing the video marketing yourself, as a business owner who owns a small local business. Because if you own a local restaurant or a local hair salon or something like that, you don't really want to be spending a bunch of time learning how to do video marketing. It's more cost efficient, and it's smarter to outsource it to someone else who already knows how to do it. So I would sell that whole idea in video number 2. And then in video number 3, I would introduce my new video marketing service. So again, in that 3-step process, I have introduced the idea and justify the idea of video marketing, why they need it. In video number 2, I talk about why they shouldn't do it themselves, why they should seek out help to do it. And then in video number 3, I provide them with the solution. So that's the typical sequence that I like to follow. Everyone does a product launch differently. Some people do a product launch with just one video. Maybe video number 1 would just be a video announcing an upcoming product. And then video number 2 would basically be a sales video saying, here's the product, here's all its features, here's how to buy it. Now, if you've got an existing audience, you don't have to sell as much, and you can do a shorter product launch sequence. If you're starting from scratch and you have nobody, chances are you're going to have to do more selling in the beginning. Again, you're probably going to have to do at least a series of 3 videos, at least. If you've got an existing audience, again, you can tone this down a bit. I found in my business that this is what works best for me now. I don't have to do as many videos. In fact, my audience, since they already know me and trust me, I don't have to create a series of 3 videos to pre-sell them on any of my products. All I have to do is make one video saying, hey, I've got this new product coming out. Here's why you need it. Here's what it will do for you. Here's when it's coming out. And then the next video that they get from me, or the next email they get from me, will be basically saying, okay, now the product is released. Here's how you can buy it. And then people rush to buy it because they already know me and trust my products and know that I provide value. And also, since they already know me and they've seen a bunch of my stuff, they purchased a bunch of my stuff, if I was to release, 3 videos, if I had to make them watch and sit through 3 videos just to announce a new product, I think they would get bored, and I think I would lose their attention. It would actually hurt my product launch more than it would actually help it. Again, because my customers already know me. If I was starting from scratch, again, I would have to do more selling and make more videos during the product launch process. Now, this podcast is not intended to be a course on how to do a product launch. I'm just covering the basics here, and basically I want to cover, how I go about using video to launch, my different products and services. And I understand if you're listening to this, you might be at a different stage in your business. You might be at a higher stage than me. Your business might be more developed than me. You might have more customers, or you might be slightly behind me. You might not have any customers. You might just have a few. So again, it's going to be totally different depending on where you are in your business. Now, I want to talk about a couple different tricks for getting the best results in your product launch. The first one is timing. You need to know exactly what your customers want, and you need to know exactly the right time to create it. You need to learn how to recognize trends. You need to learn how to recognize common questions that you're getting from your customers via email or in your support tickets and stuff like that. You need to learn how to recognize this stuff and then capitalize on it at the right time. So for example, the WordPress theme that we're launching, the Swift Commerce theme, it's an e-commerce theme, okay? We basically created this theme because of all the questions we were getting via our support desk and through email. People sending us ideas for themes, asking us, hey, do you have a theme that will allow me to do this? Do you have a theme that will allow me to do that? And then all that feedback on top of our own observation from our own local clients asking us, how can I sell my products from my website? And then us, going out there and needing to look for a solution for our own clients, finding out that there was nothing really available out there. We put those two things together and said, okay, we need to create this solution not only for our own clients, but for people, for our WordPress theme customers, so they can use it for their own clients. So we were able to recognize this demand in our marketplace, and we were able to create it in time while that demand was still hot. And because of this, I think this product launch on Thursday is going to go really well, judging by the feedback so far. Now, the next thing is the product itself. You need to create something that people want. You just can't go out there and create a product just for the sake of creating a product. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter if you do an awesome product launch or not, you do everything right. It all comes down to the product. Do your customers want this? Does the marketplace want this? You want to make sure that the product is something that people are going to want. And you can find out what people want by simply asking them or doing some research in your niche. So make sure the product that you're intending on doing a product launch for is something that is in fact wanted and needed. So let's talk about sequence really quickly. We want to make sure that our product launch runs over the course of a short period of time. Earlier in this podcast, I talked about the length of a typical product launch. And some of them are as short as just a couple of days, while some of them are run into the 7 to 10 days in length. And that's probably about as high as I would recommend going. The chances, if you end up going a little bit longer than that, the chances of your customers totally forgetting about who you are in video number 1 by the time you release the next video is pretty high. So you have to make sure that when you're doing your product launch and you're releasing your videos out there, you need to make sure that your sequence of release dates is close to each other. You don't want to do a 6-month product launch, for example. You don't want to release video number 1 announcing that a new product is coming and then wait 3 months or 6 months to actually release the product. People are going to forget about you. Everyone has so much email coming in their inbox on a daily basis. I think if you wait more than a week, then people are going to forget about you. In fact, that has happened to me. I've had a case where I wanted to launch a new product, and it was like a 5-day product launch. And then the day came where I needed to release the product, and I just wasn't ready. I had to postpone the product launch by like 4 days or something like that. It was ridiculous. Something came up. And by the time I launched that product, the response was a lot lower than typical. And I believe it was because they just forgot about the whole product. The excitement wore off. You have that small period of time, that small window that you have from the time that you release video number 1 and announce the product or announce the product launch to where you actually ask for the sale. So again, try to keep your launches under a week. And also, it's all about social proof and interaction. That's the whole point of a product launch, I think. So make sure you have an area below your videos where people, your prospects, can leave customers and ask questions directly below your videos. In fact, that's what we're doing right now with the Swift Commerce team. If you were to go watch that video right now, you would see below the video, there are like 65 comments on the video. And the video is just like a 7-minute video of us talking about the theme that's coming out and all the different features of it. And then we announce the launch date. And I think the social proof and the huge amount of comments and interaction below the video is going to have a huge impact on the results of our product launch. And another thing that I like to do is when someone asks a question or posts a comment below one of the videos, I like to respond to each one, personally. And what that does is it shows people that you're actually reading their comments, shows you're a real person, and it makes people want to leave a comment and ask a question because they want to get a reply from you. They want to see if you'll really reply. And again, this all works to building that social proof, building that interaction, which ultimately leads to more people, watching your product launch and anticipating the product and wanting to be part of this event that everyone else is a part of. That's, to me, is the whole idea of a product launch, creating an event that everyone wants to follow and ultimately participate in, which means buying the product. Okay, so let's quickly talk about creating a typical product launch video. It doesn't matter what the topic of your video is about, whether you're in the early stages where you're just talking about the potential problem in your niche or justifying a certain service or whatever, or if you're creating a sales video. All product launch videos should be well planned. They shouldn't just be videos where you turn on your microphone or get in front of the camera and just start jabbering. Sure, you could do that, but you have to be really good if you want to, create a clean and tight sales message that way. You have to sit down and think about what you want each video to cover. Each video must transition or flow into the next video. So video number 1 must flow very nicely and fit nicely with video number 2. Video number 3 should follow up nicely from video number 2. It should be like a story or experience that your customers go through. And the end result is, of course, buying the product. So I highly recommend you sit down and think about your product launch sequence. Think about what each topic, each video is going to cover, and then sit down and actually write your script for each video word for word. And then you can get in front of the camera or do a screen capture video and record the content in a clean and tight message. So you can deliver your information, deliver your sales message, deliver your content in a short and concise manner versus just jabbering on about random stuff and losing your train of thought and trying to remember what you're saying and covering on certain topics and going off on tangents that you don't really need to go off onto. Kind of like how I do these podcasts, but this is a different kind of thing. So again, make sure you write your scripts for your videos to keep your videos short and to the point. And also try to keep your videos under 7 minutes. Any longer than that, then you start to lose people's attention and people start to close videos early and stuff like that. We live in a world today where information is just, we're overwhelmed with information. And the more shorter, cleaner, and crisper that you can make your videos in general, the more people you're going to get listening to your videos and watching your entire videos. People are busy. They have other things to do. They don't have time to sit down and watch, 10, 20-minute videos. They just don't. And this is something that I've noticed a huge change in the past year. Now, obviously, my podcast, it's kind of funny that I'm saying this while I'm recording, going on 30 minutes now in my podcast. A podcast is different. Like, you're probably listening to this podcast while you're doing something else. You might be working at the computer. You might be at the gym. You might be in the car driving down the road. You might be doing some housework. Who knows? But chances are you're not just sitting in front of the computer watching the audio player as you're listening to me talk. You're probably doing something else. You're listening to this podcast passively. With video, you can't do that, so you need to make your videos short and to the point. And lastly, you want to have a call to action at the end of every video. So keeping the 3-step or 3-video process, or let's come up with an official name for this, 3-video product launch sequence in mind here. Video number 1, at the end of that video, you want to have a call to action for them to do something like leave a comment, or maybe comment or ask a question about a certain part of something that you covered in the video. So for example, if you're talking about, fan pages, the advantage of having a fan page in video number 1, maybe at the end of video number 1, you might ask them to say something like, in the comments below, leave me a comment saying what your goal is for this year for your fan page or something like that. You want to induce interaction, okay? You want to encourage interaction with you and your listeners. At the end of video number 2, you might ask a similar question like, please leave your comments about how you intend to improve your video marketing this year, or whatever, how it goes with the video. And then in video number 3 is where you would actually ask for the sale, and the call to action in that video would obviously be for them to buy the product or service. So in a nutshell, that's basically how I do my product launches with video. I don't think there's really anything else I can cover here. As far as some tools that I use, I guess, some tools that I use for every product launch video are PowerPoint, because I use that to create the slides. I use Camtasia a lot to record the screen when I record the slides. I use Sony Vegas and sometimes Adobe Premiere to edit the live video. And that's pretty much it. I I also use Fiverr.com if I need to outsource voiceovers, and or if I want to get an introduction created quickly for the video, stuff like that. But it's all about, just thinking about how to launch this new product or service that you intend to release. And it's all about thinking about your goal, thinking about your strategy, mapping out your videos, what each video is going to cover, and then ultimately writing the scripts and creating those videos. So if you have any questions about this topic at all, feel free to head on over to VRP.com, click on the podcast link at the top of the site, and you should be able to find this episode. It's episode number 4, and leave me a question in the comments there. But my final thoughts here is, that's basically how I launch every new product that I've ever created, every service that I've ever released to my clients, every website that I've ever created. I've never just created something and just put it out there and hope that people would buy it, because I know that generally doesn't work. You have to pre-sell people on your stuff and, create an event around your product, service, business, or website. And this is exactly how I've launched new services to my existing customers in my web design business as well. I basically released a bunch of videos talking about fan pages when fan pages first started to get big. I released a series of videos talking about why they need fan pages and all this stuff. And then, by the time they ended up watching those videos, I had them sold on my new fan page design services. Until next time, I just wanted to thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Video Revolver Podcast. If you like the show, you should check me out on VRP.com, where you'll find more tips, tricks, and techniques on how you can create amazing web videos that sell more of your products and services. If you have any questions for me, you can always leave a comment directly on the website, or you can always call me on the Video Revolver voicemail line and leave me a message. I might play your question and answer it live on the air in a future episode.